When is the best time to have carbohydrates? Well, that really depends on like person to person. It varies. So a lot of people will say that don't eat carbs after 6 p.m. because it's just going to get stored as body fat because you're. But the main reason is because you're not using it after 6 p.m. Okay, but that's not for everybody. Okay, so let's say for someone who maybe finishes work late, maybe a person finishes at 6 p.m. and he can only have like some food after 6 p.m. So he's going to eat some carbs, got protein, some fats, and maybe that person wants to train in a gym at 7:30 or like 8 o'clock. So is it okay for him to have carbs? Then of course, because he's going to need that energy in order to do his workouts. Depending on what he's doing, he could be doing like heavy weightlifting, he could be doing running, whatever. Okay, he needs that energy for the exercises. Okay, because imagine if he follows the rule that don't eat after 6 p.m. Sorry, don't eat carbs after 6 p.m. And then he's going to feel very drained, very drowsy. And when he comes to do cardio or heavy weightlifting, he's going to feel very, very like tired, very exhausting. And he might even feel very like faint, dizzy because he hasn't had a lot of like carbohydrates in his system to use. So so it really depends on the person. But obviously, after his workout at 8 o'clock, maybe he'll finish at 9. Then he might just drink a like, protein shake, and then maybe he'll be in bed after that. But I probably wouldn't eat carbs after the workout, And so at the end of the day, probably don't eat carbs mainly because you're not going to use it like afterwards. What else are you going to do? You're going to go home, or are you going to do more exercises? Probably not. So I'll probably just like really like reduce carbs to a minimum at the end of the day because you'll just be getting ready for bed anyway, and you don't want all those carbohydrates sitting in your stomach overnight. Um, what about having carbs in the morning? A lot of people will say yes, have carbs because you're going to need energy for the rest of the day. So again, this varies from person to person. If you know that, say, from your morning till 12 p.m., you're not really going to do much. Okay, especially for those who want to lose fat. If you know you're not doing much anyway, you're not going to be doing exercises from 8 a.m. till 12 p.m., then you don't have to eat a lot of carbs. I mean, definitely eat your proteins. So in the morning, maybe like have your eggs, your bacon, or just just something like light. And if you're bulking, then maybe have some like toasts in the morning, just sort of keep you like going. But it's not like a must have. You don't have to have loads of carbohydrates in the morning. Even though I do encourage people to have some carbs mainly for energy. And it's not because of like you're doing like intense exercises or anything, but it's more to do with like your for like mentally, you do need to um, you know to increase your concentration levels so you can actually focus at work if you're going to work, or you're just thinking, anything that sometimes you need energy to think properly. Yeah, so I think that it's important to have some carbohydrates as well. Otherwise, you're gonna again feel very, very like very like faint, very drowsy, and you just cannot concentrate because you haven't got all that energy to use, even for thinking. So, uh, so definitely have some carbs in the morning. I'm not telling you to indulge on carbohydrates. Just have some, yeah. But at the end of the day, it's all about like balance. And so even though it's not completely wrong to even have like carbohydrates after your workout, because especially if you want to like build muscle, or if you want to gain some weight, then you can practically have like anything really. So yeah, just be very, very sensible. Everything in moderation. Whatever you do is do not indulge on things, or do not make it like a big habit that eating loads of carbs after midnight, that sort of thing. So yeah, just stay sensible, and obviously what your body needs, um, and really depending on your goals as well. Okay, if you're obviously bulking, then okay, you can sort of play around with the calories, and balance them out. But if you want to lose fat, then I will probably restrict yourself a little bit, but not too much restriction. Like I said, everything in moderation. Yeah. Um, yeah. So that's the tips on eating carbs. Whenever, wherever. All right. Any tips on carbohydrates? Let me know, guys. I'll see you soon. Peace.